and not to ever change how you say thank you or how you acknowledge that they have given you a gift. And for me, that's been so good because I stay neutral in my process. I'm simply thanking them for acknowledging me, and the material part is the part that keeps us all connected and is simply the exchange of energy.
Yeah, and when you don't look at it, you see yourself as having a reaction to it, and you really don't know what that amount means to the other person. They could be being very generous with you, even though the amount might not add up to much in an objective way. So it's just a way to protect the rapport, is how I look at it.
Talk about that a little bit more, please. That's a good point.
Protecting, yeah, it is. It's a really important gesture that you're making to them by not looking at the money and just by thanking them for being as true to themselves as we all hope that we all are all the time. There's a word for that, actually. There's a name for that kind of donation that I remembered a second ago. It's called true donation. So it's a donation that feels true to the person who is giving the donation. And that person can find that within themselves. It's if they just meditate on it a bit. What is this worth to me? What feels like appropriate donation? And that's a good guide to give, actually. And based on that perspective, it's really not up to anyone to judge what they felt was really true for them to give. And by not looking at that, you're really doing what I am trying to advocate for here, which is to uplift our spiritual life by uplifting our relationships through communication skills, is really devoting ourselves to being in rapport with other people inside authenticity. Strong boundaries, but authentic connection, authentic boundaries, authentic vulnerability, intimacy when we choose to go there with someone, but just connection, even with a strong boundary. So just always to have some of our attention on the rapport that we're experiencing with the people in our lives, and not just on the content of the things that they're saying, which in this case might be the money. The money might be the content, but really there's a spirit behind that content, and to really honor the spirit of connection and rapport is the way to develop the kind of relationships that we want over the long term.
So
here's what
am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
I do. I know this is y'all's show. I'm a caller. They unmuted me.
What's your name?
My name is Zachary.
Tell James what your name is. Yeah, Zachary, I see your number a lot on my show, so thank you for following us. James Tolley, this is Zachary. He's one of our regular people. He follows our show. So, James, is it okay if he asks a question?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll mute now.
Thank you, ma'am. That was very nice of you to introduce us that way. So I find this conversation very interesting. So I would say to you, I come from Appalachia, where people have nothing. Everybody are, pretty much in poverty. The majority of people are in poverty. And even those who are not in poverty think of themselves as middle class, but they're not middle class compared to the rest of the world. I have a problem with what you guys are doing.
Okay.
You're saying that, hey, let them give whatever they can, and I respect that. I truly respect that. That's way better than any evangelist that comes out and says, I don't care about your class system. I don't care about nothing. Just give me your money. So I respect you for the fact that you honor $1 as much as you honor $1,000. I truly respect that. But you are making spirituality, and I really do respect it, but you're making spirituality a commodity. You're buying into the market. I believe you are, because let's look at Islam. Let's look at monks. Let's look at Orthodox. These people work for spirituality.
Let's look at the people who approach me and ask me for my time and my energy and my love and my support and my encouragement. And then
I wonder if I can step in here for a minute, because I
No, because you're going to cut me off. But I'm not. I'm trying to be very respectful, and that's fine. That you have a service that you want to sell. You have a service that you want to sell, That is totally fine.
Who are you being respectful to, Zachary? Who are you being respectful with?
No, I said that you acknowledge that not all class can pay the same thing. I acknowledge that it's a service, it's a work, it's a job for you. I acknowledge that, and that there is a fallacy. You think of spirituality as a job, as a career.
Do I think of it that way?
Here, Suzanne, I would really like to engage with Zachary. Can I do that, please?
Can I cut in real fast? Just let me interject one thing. I was going to become a preacher. I put my time in. I did everything. But when you join the priesthood, you have to say you're going to donate 40% of your salary to the church. I was becoming a born-again Christian. The other thing is, when you become a priest, minister, rabbi, whatever you want to say, you got a temple and a place, and you're paid for it. Everything's paid for. You don't have to work. If you were living on the street and preaching,
okay, so
see how long you would live.
Wait. You're coming from New Age, Reformation,
Not
Reform.
New Age. Religion
do you realize
in
Islam? Do you realize in Islam you do not get paid for being a scholar? You do not get paid for being imam. You do not get paid to sell the Quran. The Christianity, see, you're making my whole point for me. The reason Christianity is losing people and why nobody wants to be Christians anymore is because now it's all, Billy Graham, buy my book, pay to
No, they're New Age people. They're not Christians. They're New Age people. So when you say Christians, there's 2.4 billion Christians.
All spirituality.
What about Zachary? If I gave you an enormous amount of respect and I said you have value and your opinion matters to me, and I respect what you have to say, and I see the validity of your point. It is about me having a deep respect for you being willing to talk about your point of view in a public forum and to speak from your heart.
I appreciate it. And if people want to pay you for your spirituality, I have no problem.
I'm just talking about you. What if I said to you, I respect you, I appreciate you, I think what you have to say is valid, and I don't disagree with you, and I think what you say in your words and your intention by speaking from your heart is important.
I understand what you're doing. I truly do. What I'm saying is that people only grow spiritually through struggle. You cannot be taught struggle. You cannot learn struggle.
How about I respect you, and I respect your philosophy, and I respect who you are, and I respect what you have done, and I respect your intention.
Hey, Zachary. Zachary.
Yes.
I love people. Let me ask you a question, Zachary. How long have you been listening to my show? This is TJ, Teresa Jeanette Thurman Morris. I lived in Appalachia for 20 years. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You're in my church right now, and guess what? This church has cost me about $10,000 in 8 years, and I don't remember ever getting a penny of help from you. So how are you helping me by being on my show tonight? How are you helping all these people? This is my love and light community.
My question for you, what I would say to that is, I'm sorry that if you're saying you're in debt for your church, but what I'm saying is that when Jesus Christ walked and prophesied, he didn't ask for money, no matter what the price was. He even paid with his life.
Are you asking?
I've never asked you for a penny. That's why you're on here tonight, because you called in free. You're paying AT&T or somebody, but not me. You're not paying me.
The person that's on.
Okay, I'm sorry, Tommy.
Excuse. For anybody, all right, you want to talk to me about Jesus, please go right ahead. Wherever he went, people gave to him. He didn't have to work. He didn't have to do things. People knew who he was. There's a difference there. All right? He didn't have to work. People fed him. Wherever he went, he was a gift to those people, and they knew it. All right? When I don't charge anything for anything I ever did, I give my books away for free. But that doesn't mean everybody has to do that. People need to live no matter what they're doing. Do you got a job? Do you work? Do you have a job?
Zachary, have you dropped off?
I'm a diesel mechanic.
Okay.
Oh, you work on the trucks.
Do you get paid
He
for
works
your
on
work?
trucks.
Of course I do, but I don't promise that my labor will set them free.
But
Well, why
you
don't
don't
you set up
volunteer
your own
anywhere.
radio show? Why don't you set up your own radio show?
And share your
Okay.
message. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Great
So now it's back to
conversation,
James.
James.
Back to James. I'm not going to
Thank you.
Zachary, you can still listen, but, you're not helping me tonight, so God bless you. All right.
Love
so,
you.
James, back to our communications. Well, of course, we're always going to have naysayers and people that don't agree, but I'm paying the bill to listen to Zachary talk to my guests like they're trash. So, James, help me out.
Well, this is an example of a conversation that didn't end up really in the full way, I don't think, for anyone involved, right? So this is just a good modeling of the kind of conversation that we probably, actually honest greatly in how she with that was I appreciate quite a bit, and
Oh, James, you're cutting off.
I didn't. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Me too, because we're only getting half of what you're saying. It's okay. He's one of my regular listeners, and he works on diesels, and he listens to us all the time. He's entitled to his opinion, and we love everybody. So if he believes that he's really a Bible toter Appalachian that believes in Jesus Christ, I can talk to him all day, and so can Tommy, probably Suzanne, and everybody on this show. So you go right ahead, James. We love everybody. So can you communicate how to fix this?
Yeah, I would have felt wonderful to connect with Zachary just now, and I actually would go to training and connect with me. I'd really like to connect with you. So we have here someone who's communicating their upset, right? They're communicating pain, and they're doing it in a way that causes trouble, actually, for other people, maybe for themselves. And there's ways, basically, what I was talking about before, invoking the shared purpose. Invoking the shared purpose would have been a wonderful technique to use just in that time. Just to say, Zachary, I hear in what you're saying that spirituality matters to you. Well, spirituality matters to me too.
Well, it didn't matter. I'm just letting you know, James, because you're talking to Zach, but he left. So I guess he got upset.
Oh, I know.
So,
I know he
but
left.
we're listening. We're listening.
I thought that was great. There's a communication story. There's a total communication story going on there.
Right. And
what was his pain? What was his pain he was talking about?
His pain was
exactly.
Oh, James, your phone is cutting out so badly we can barely hear you. So
I'm so sorry.
It's just it's like part of a word or something. But Rich asked the question of me, what was his pain, and his pain was wanting to be a spiritual person, but doing a menial labor work and not feeling as if he was getting paid enough, and not feeling as if he was respected for his work. So there might be a conflict in his home where the person didn't understand how hard it was for him to do that work, or the people that he did the work for didn't respect him enough to give him a better spot to work from, or if the people that he actually has to live with don't respect his contribution. But his entire pain was centered in the lack of respect, lack of understanding, and lack of support for who and what he was as a person. It was really, really quite sad. And it was kind of interesting because I have gone to Africa and I've been into areas that are poor in America. And if you want to see real poverty, go to a zero economy world and you will see a type of poverty you didn't know could exist. So I'm very familiar with the issues of poverty and what's required to change that. But this was a person who wanted somebody to listen to his pain. He was not able to have a conversation that would allow anybody to